Good afternoon, everyone. This is Brad Weber with Local Umbrella Media. Welcome to the next episode of Simply Local San Diego, where we talk about local San Diegans doing amazing things. And one of the amazing things here in San Diego for years is the San Diego International Film Festival. And we're here with Tonya Mantooth, the CEO and Artistic Director of the San Diego International Film Festival. Thanks for being back with us this year.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's always such a great event. Last year was kind of the first time we kind of got back after a couple of years of the whole COVID thing. And it was cool going to I went to the Culinary Cinema. We'll talk about that a little bit.
Oh,
Saw
yeah.
some amazing films, and a lot of the films you can talk in detail about this, but I know a lot of the films that were shown ended up winning Oscars and became big hits and all kinds of stuff. So this year is October 19th to 23rd. Is that
Yep,
correct?
that's right. Yeah.
So I'll let you tell everyone about, what we've got plans for this year. People that aren't familiar with the film festival, maybe just tell them the basics of why they should be and why they should come out and see.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for talking about the films we had last year, because it was amazing. We had 6 films that went on in the award circuit, and between the 6, we garnered 28 Oscar nominations and 16 Golden Globes.
Yeah.
So we had a really strong representation, in the awards circuit. So, and what's always fun for me is that these films, the people in San Diego, they get to see them really before anybody else. Just a handful of audiences in the country have seen those films.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to do it. But yeah, last year was a bit of a bridge year as we all kind of are coming out of the COVID time. And so we're really excited to come back and to really bring a lot more of the festival than we have. So, our tagline is we're bringing the fest back into festival,
I
because
love that.
that allows us to, get out and have more parties. So, opening night, we're going to be at Balboa Park at the Museum of Photographic Arts. Incredible pre-reception.
That's where it was last year.
That's where it was.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
a great event.
Yeah.
So if you haven't come out before, that's just a beautiful place to have. Obviously, we're here in beautiful San Diego.
Yep.
It's always a nice night. It's great food and the atmosphere, and then you get to watch these unique films that no one else has seen before sometimes.
Well, what's interesting is we're opening with a film called Armageddon Time. Now, that sounds like a pretty heavy film, but actually it's a really beautiful kind of coming of age film. Stars Anthony Hopkins,
Wow.
Jeremy Strong, if anybody watches Secession, you know him,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Anne Hathaway. And it is really, it's this incredible story of this family in the 80s, and the young boy who is finding himself with his best friend is African American, and he starts to see the social inequity that goes on, and the fact that his best friend will live a different life than he will. And so it's a beautiful coming of age.
Wow.
It's a real interesting character look at this family. And that will be our opening night film.
Wow. Is that an American family, or is it, because a lot of your films are international, like I know Belfast last year and beautiful film, but is this an American
It's
film?
an American
Oh, good.
family. Yeah, it's an American family in the 80s, kind of experiencing, kind of the upheaval of that time, which is also a reminder for us now, because we feel like we're in this upheaval,
Yep.
which we are. But, in the 80s, they felt the same way. So it's also kind of a glimpse back. But Anthony Hopkins was amazing in the film.
big
Plays a
shock.
grandfather. Yeah. It was amazing.
Huh.
So one of the things, Brad, we're bringing back this year is our Night of the Stars tribute. And we're going to do that at the Conrad, which is in downtown La Jolla. Beautiful, beautiful venue. And so in the past, we've honored everybody from Lawrence Fishburne, Annette Bening, Gina Davis, Adrian Brody, Alan Arkin. So this year we're pretty close to announcing.
Okay, I was going to say,
but,
who is it?
But not
Okay.
quite yet. But yeah, we'll be bringing that back.
Okay.
And that's
well, the
always,
website's on the bottom, scrolling across. So just when will you be announcing that? Is there a date, or do people just sit on the edge of their seat and find out?
You know what, they need to sit on the edge of
Okay.
their seat to
Okay.
know.
We're
No,
happy to do it.
we'll probably let everybody know in the next week or so.
Great.
So, but then one thing that we're doing this year is we're going to be back in theaters, which last year, it was a little bit of a different screening experience. So we're going to be at the AMC at Westfield and UTC, formerly ArcLight. So now it's an AMC. So we've been there before. We're glad to come back. We'll be 3 full days of screenings, multiple theaters, and then everyone gets a chance to see a lot more films.
Yeah, a lot more options than in the past, where you had to kind of pick open outdoor venues and things like that, which are cool, but it did limit the supply.
It
So,
did,
yeah.
absolutely. And so this is our step to come back to how we normally will. And what's interesting is our closing night film, which I'm really proud of, is a film called Empire of Light. So if you saw 1917, the film 1917, Sam Mendes, he's the director. He's bringing this back. It's Olivia Colman and Colin Firth, and it is a beautiful film, and that will be our closing night film. So I'm excited about that.
So how many films total? If I mean,
we'll have 50 screenings.
50. Okay. Yep. And is that always about that range, or is it more this year, less this year? Is
Normally
that what
we have about 80.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So can I ask why fewer this year, or is that fair?
Well, part of it is taking that step to coming back, and part of it has to do with funding and all of that, and just kind of wanting to have a bit of a bridge year. So we're really kind of coming back to where we were. So just like everybody, it's kind of, steps forward.
It used to be normal, and then it was chaos, and now it's finding what normal is again. So I can't even imagine I put events together on a very small scale, and it's a lot of work to do events.
It's a lot to take on.
Huge with all the, attracting the films. How do you get them? It's a big mystery. And I always wondered, how does a film choose the San Diego International Film Festival versus somewhere else? Or is it a bidding war? Is it, how do they choose us versus LA or somewhere else?
Well, you know what? That's a really good question. When I came in 11 years ago, really only had maybe 300 or 400 submissions. And that was one of the things, was how do we change our reputation with filmmakers around the world? And so this year we had record submission. We were a little over 3,000 submissions from 85 countries. And so what they look for is they look at the quality of what you've programmed in the past, because they want to be, considered next to their peers. They're also looking at what are the studio films that you have. And so, because they want to be playing in a theater that's next to somewhere where Anthony Hopkins is playing or Olivia Colman. So it's building that reputation. And also just looking at how are you programming and what's your mission. So it's taken, it's a slow process to gain, and really garner their respect. But we were thrilled to see so many filmmakers and from so many countries. And we culled down to 115 films. So the process of going from a little over 3,000 to 115, very painful.
So you watched all these films yourself? You couldn't have. 3,000 films is
No, I didn't watch them all, but we opened for submissions in January, and we have about 50 screeners who are committed to watching. So it's a process where the film is watched multiple times. It's rated, it moves up the pyramid to be watched again and again up. And so the ones with the lower ratings fall off. And then I'm watching films that are coming out of the festival circuit throughout the year. So I'm watching throughout the year as well. But even when you get to that top of the pyramid, and you've culled down to the top 500, it's a tough process to get down to 115.
This is news to me, because I did always wonder. So how do is it a fair question to ask how you choose these 50 screeners? Is it film industry experts or just citizens, or is that something you don't want people to know?
It's absolutely. It's a combination. We always get new people that want to screen. And so we put them through a process. We look at their background, we look at their interests, we look at their experience. And some are people who have studied film, they love film. They may have a completely different job, but it's an area that they're passionate about and they're schooled enough about it. So then we run them through an opportunity to watch several films, and then we see how they review them. We see what they see and how they're able to give the feedback.
Interesting.
And so that's its own process that we start.
If I had more time when I'm retired, I'll apply for that job.
That's right. You should. Yes.
I'll say, nope, didn't have time to watch it, Tonya. You better pick somebody else next year. Are all these people local?
No.
Oh, they aren't. So they're all over the world.
They're all over the world. And that's one of the things that's really important to us, is it not only a geographic diversity, but also just a diversity in terms of, ethnicity, culture, all of that, because we want to have different eyes looking at these films.
So do different film festivals use the same 50 people? You got me on this 50 people, because this is the behind the scenes stuff I never really thought about until now. But do a lot of the film festivals use the the same group of screeners or individuals, or
No,
that
they
you?
all everybody
Okay.
everybody uses
Okay. So if
their
you're a
own.
reviewer for the San Diego International Film
Mhm.
Festival, you're not doing Cannes or
Right.
LA or Palm Springs. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
We have had a couple people that do, screen for other festivals,
Okay.
and I'm always thrilled to have them because, obviously, they know how to watch independent
Right.
films and they know how to review them.
But it's still pretty darn unique for this. You've
Mhm.
got different review sets for the whole
Yep.
thing. So, one of the things I mentioned it before is a culinary film festival. That was to me when I first heard about it. It's like that's a cool idea, and it's a lot of fun. And you go eat and drink some amazing food, and you go watch a film afterwards. So,
Yep.
I don't know if there's something specific this year that you have, or if you want to talk about it, or just have people look into it or not. But I
You
think
know
it's a
what?
cool thing.
I've always loved it. It was something that I started probably about 8 years ago, and it's just a unique experience. I mean, who doesn't love a food pairing
Yeah.
and to watch a film about food?
Yeah.
And so, every year I pick a film, I curate a film, and, when you go in the theater, you're forced to have a glass of champagne because,
Mhm.
it's Sunday morning,
Yeah.
and who doesn't want a glass of champagne on a
Got it.
Sunday morning? So this year, I chose a film called Love, Charlie, and it's the rise and fall of Chef Charlie Trotter.
Oh.
And he was a pretty famous chef in Chicago. He really changed in the 70s and 80s, really changed the cuisine in the country. And he took really kind of the examples from France
Mhm.
and from many, many countries in Europe, and he really applied them. Not only the presentation, but the types of food, but also how food was grown. He was really the first one to bring organic food. Everybody, like celebrities around the world, flew in to eat at his restaurant. So
Mm.
he was an incredibly interesting man, and it's about his life and his journey and, the tumultuous life that he had.
Uh,
So then we bring in 5 chefs, and they curate a dish
right.
inspired by the film. Then everybody gets to come out and have that with some wine pairing, and
How
it's a
cool is that?
wonderful
And
Sunday
that's
afternoon.
which date is that?
That's on the Sunday, October 23rd.
And where is that one gonna be at?
It's gonna be at the AMC at UTC Westfield.
Okay.
Yep. So it'll
Okay.
be out on that patio just outside the theater.
Got it. Because last year I think was at Catamaran or
Yeah, we were
somewhere
at the
downtown, which
Catamaran.
is a cool spot too. But
Yep.
this you have the whole theater. You can watch more than one film probably that day and
Yep.
whatnot. So great. If people want to buy tickets, we don't want to
We
leave them out. We want you to know how. So
Exactly. Go to sdfilmfest.com. We wanted to keep it affordable, because we know it's been a tough time for everybody.
Mhm.
So we've kept our prices relatively low. You have 2 options. You have a VIP pass, which gets you into everything, gets you into the tribute,
It's fun.
culinary, all the
Yeah.
screenings, opening night. You have access to the VIP lounge right there, the free alcohol.
Yeah.
That's
That's always
that's
fun
worth
too.
the price of the pass.
But you actually get to meet some of these, the actors and the directors, and it's just a cool experience if
Yeah.
you haven't done the Hollywood thing, which I certainly haven't before. So that's as close as you're going to get, and it's really neat to see these people you've seen before on screen, and they're right there in front of you and answering questions. And you do when you go to a film. A lot of people haven't been to a film festival
Yeah.
ever, so it's I've done it a couple times, so I kind of know, but describe why you should go instead of just going to the theater, watching a ticket or buying a ticket to watch a film and leaving. Every film, if I'm not mistaken, every film has a little after a
Yeah.
discussion. I'm not thinking the right term, but maybe you can
There's
say
a
it right.
there's a Q&A after every one, and I think that's a really good point, Brad. That is what distinguishes the difference between going to a film festival and just sitting at home,
Right.
is that you get a chance to hear from the actors, from the director, and what that experience was like for them, and to ask those questions. But I think the other part of it is them being able to walk out of the theater and then having that sense of community, like
Right.
talking about the film and having a glass of wine, meeting new people, creating that sense of community. And I think we all experienced a little bit of that over, this time of COVID where we
Yeah.
were so isolated.
Oh yeah.
And so being able to come back and do that and talk about film and find that commonality. You may not agree on everything, and that's okay. That's what film's about. Film's
Yeah.
about opening that discussion and finding the commonality.
And it's kind of people like being kind of first and having us go, you want to, if the restaurant opens, you want to go eat there right
Right.
away to check it out so you can part of it is telling your friends, hey, you need to try this place out. It's new. I've done it and you
Yep.
haven't, sort
Yep.
of type of thing. So that's part of what I remember when I went to the first one, and I remember telling all these people, I can't remember what the film was, but it was a good film. But just the experience, I
Yeah.
remember, sometimes you go to a film and you talk to somebody about it, but this was everybody I talked about. Oh, by the way, I saw this film and I got to meet the actors afterwards, and you should watch this film too. So as far as, being an insider or being, that influencer to your friends and other people that, we were there first, we met the actors, we met the director.
Yep.
It's a fun thing to
Yeah.
have your little star on you that you're not boring anymore or whatever. So if you haven't been to, I'll say it again, if you haven't been, it's a different experience than just going to the theater and watching the films. You can see all these films later on, 6 months or a year from now, or maybe sooner. But
some of the independent ones you may never see.
Yeah.
And
Some
that's
of them you just
that's
can't
what makes the
find.
festival
Yeah.
special.
Yeah. And it's even hard. In the old days of video stores, you used to be able to find these old films, and sometimes it's harder to find without video stores, I think, than it was before, even though technology's made them more available overall. So anyway, anything else you want to add? I don't want to forget to ask you. I should have given you your background, because you've been doing this a long time. Tonya is an absolute pro at what you do. You've been doing San Diego International Film Festival. How many years?
This is my 11th year.
11th year.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And prior to that, I've been a producer.
Got it.
So produced for a few years before that.
So Tonya's,
let's just not put a number on
this
it.
isn't just any person here. This is someone that has a lot of background in the industry, knows how to choose films, knows what audiences want, knows how to put on an event where people are, get what they want out of it and experience it and have a joyful experience and something to remember and tell your friends about.
Oh, well,
So,
thank you.
yeah.
And obviously, nothing is done alone. I have an incredible team
Yes, you
that
do.
work very, very hard. So
Yeah.
really, really grateful for their dedication, especially getting through the last couple of years. So,
Yeah.
but we're excited. We're excited to be back, and we're excited to have people come back and come out and enjoy good film.
Sounds great. So highly suggest you check it out. October 19th to the 23rd. You can buy individual tickets. You can buy a VIP experience, which you'll never forget, and not that expensive. You go online and find out about all the packages. I hope to see you there. Thanks for being with us, Tonya.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, I want to thank our sponsors today before I sign off. Attorney King, of course, Saquon Casino, IB Fitness, and that's our show, Simply Local San Diego. Go see the film festival, October 19th, 23rd. Bye-bye.